Now to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They've joined more than 700 public figures in calling for a ban on AI superintelligence due to safety concerns. What else can you tell me about this?
Here's what I can tell you, Rita. Never forget, in 2020, Prince Harry was tricked during a phone call with two Russian pranksters posing as Greta Thunberg and her father. During the call, he told them Donald Trump had blood on his hands and awkwardly distanced himself from Prince Andrew. The only thing this man is an authority on is ayahuasca and Mary Jane. I'm sorry, but I think he's a moron, and I don't care what he thinks about artificial intelligence.
In the royal commentary world, a shocking narrative unfolds, exposing glaring double standards. Our central figures in this tale are Kinsey Schofield and her co-host. Recently, they took to the airwaves to discuss an intriguing topic: Harry and Meghan Sussexes' petition regarding artificial intelligence regulation. Their commentary, however, was not as objective as one might hope for. They voiced their incredulity, saying, "We don't understand why the Sussexes are involved." This statement, while seemingly innocuous, reveals a stark double standard. They act as if the Sussexes voicing concerns about AI ethics is somehow inappropriate or out of place. Yet, let's consider this. The same petition was signed by over 700 other individuals, all of whom went unnoticed, their involvement unchallenged. It seems the spotlight only seeks to cast its harsh glare on the Sussexes. But why? Is it because they are public figures? Or is there something more insidious at play? These are the same commentators who employ AI platforms to launch attacks on Meghan and Harry, disseminating misinformation and deepfake content for the sake of generating traffic and clicks. Suddenly, when the Sussexes raise their voices and take a stand, AI becomes a topic that's off limits. The inconsistency is glaring. It's as if the Sussexes have been painted as special targets, singled out for reasons that remain shrouded in mystery. Yet, what's clear as day is that Harry and Meghan have been champions of online accountability long before it was the trend du jour. Their detractors, by dismissing their concerns, are revealing a deeper fear. The fear that AI regulation could dismantle their empire of anti-Sussex content. It's not really about AI ethics, is it? It's about preserving their biased narrative, their skewed storyline. This hypocrisy is not just surprising, it's stunning. It's time to pull back the curtain and expose the real story behind the double standards in the royal commentary world. This is the same crowd that uses AI platforms to attack Harry and Meghan, using deepfake content and misinformation for clicks. Now, isn't that a curious thing? Here we have commentators who have no qualms about exploiting artificial intelligence to fuel their narratives. But when Harry and Meghan Sussex step up to voice concerns over AI ethics, suddenly it's off limits. It's quite the spectacle to observe this sudden shift in attitude. One minute they're using AI as a tool for their machinations. The next, they're feigning ignorance and questioning why the Sussexes are getting involved. It's as if they've forgotten that Harry and Meghan have been tireless advocates for online accountability, long before it became a trendy cause. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Let's uncover the hidden agenda beneath the surface of this hypocritical stance. The truth of the matter is, these commentators aren't really concerned about whether AI ethics is a suitable domain for the Sussexes. No, their apprehension stems from a much more self-serving place. You see, if AI regulation becomes a reality, if the digital Wild West that they've been exploiting is finally tamed, what happens to their anti-Sussex content? What happens to their clickbait articles, their deepfake videos, their misinformation campaigns? They crumble, that's what. Their empire of slander and bias, built on the shaky foundation of unregulated AI, could collapse like a house of cards. And that, my friends, is the crux of the matter. That's the real fear gnawing at these commentators. It's not about AI ethics or about the Sussexes stepping out of their designated roles. It's about the potential downfall of their anti-Sussex empire. It's about the loss of their playground where accountability and truth are often casualties of their narratives. The real fear of these commentators is not AI ethics, but the potential downfall of their anti-Sussex empire. This is the hidden agenda, the truth that they'd rather you didn't see. But now you know, and knowing, as they say, is half the battle. The truth is, it's not about AI ethics for these commentators, but about protecting their own biased narrative. This dismissal of Harry and Meghan's efforts has less to do with understanding their involvement in AI regulation and more to do with safeguarding their own perspectives. Those who criticise the Sussexes for their stance on AI ethics appear to be more concerned with maintaining their own narratives than with the actual issues at hand. In the grand scheme of things, the commentators' real fear isn't about the Sussexes overstepping their boundaries. It's about the potential fallout from AI regulation. They fret over the prospect of their anti-Sussex content empire crumbling should such regulation take effect. It's a fear rooted in self-preservation rather than any genuine concern for the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. For these commentators, the Sussexes aren't just another royal couple. They're a threat to their established order. They're a challenge to the status quo, a wrench in the works of their well-oiled machine of misinformation and bias. And when the Sussexes speak up about AI ethics, they're not just voicing their opinions. They're shaking the very foundations of these commentators' world. The real story here isn't about Harry and Meghan's involvement in AI regulation. It's about the commentators' fear of change, their fear of losing control over the narrative they've so carefully constructed. It's a story of power, control, and resistance to change, masked as concern for AI ethics. And so, the Sussexes' advocacy for fairness, accountability, and truth becomes a threat. Not because it's inherently dangerous, but because it challenges the status quo. It's a call for change that these commentators aren't ready to answer. It's a demand for a fairer, more truthful narrative that they're not willing to provide. The Sussexes' advocacy for accountability, fairness, and truth is what scares these commentators. It's not the AI ethics that they fear, but the possibility of a world where their narratives no longer hold sway. And that, my friends, is the real story. It's time to call it what it is. Harry and Meghan are standing up for ethics, while the pundits stand for hypocrisy. This is the reality that we're dealing with, a reality that is often shrouded by the noise of the critics. Let's take a closer look at the selective outrage of these pundits. They have no qualms about using artificial intelligence platforms to create and spread misinformation about the Sussexes. They even go as far as to produce deepfake content, all for the sake of generating clicks and views. But when Harry and Meghan raise their voices, voicing concerns over the very same technology, suddenly these pundits feign ignorance and confusion. They question why the Sussexes are involved, as though taking a stand on AI ethics is some kind of transgression. But let's ask ourselves, why is it that the Sussexes are singled out? Why are they the special targets of this seemingly inexplicable outrage? The truth is, Harry and Meghan have been advocating for online accountability and transparency long before it became a trendy topic. They've been stepping up, using their platform to address these pressing issues, while these so-called critics have been hiding behind their screens, spewing hate and misinformation. The hypocrisy is glaring, but it's more than just that. What these critics are truly afraid of is the possibility of AI regulation taking effect. They fear that their empire of anti-Sussex content, built on the shaky foundations of misinformation and bias, could come crumbling down. Their outrage isn't about AI ethics. It's about protecting their own narrative, their own empire of falsehoods. So, let's not be fooled by the critics and their selective outrage. Let's recognise it for what it is: hypocrisy. Harry and Meghan are standing for ethics, for accountability, for truth. They are standing up against the misuse of technology, against the spread of misinformation. They are using their voices to advocate for a fairer, more transparent online world. The Sussexes' stand for ethics is the real story, not the critics' selective outrage. This is the narrative we should be focusing on, the narrative that truly matters. Harry and Meghan are using their voices for accountability, fairness, and truth. This is the essence of the final verdict. The Sussexes, amid a sea of critics, have chosen to stand up for a cause that underpins the very fabric of our digital society: AI regulation. Their advocacy is not a personal vendetta or an attempt to target a particular group. Instead, it's a call for ethics, a request for a fairer, more accountable online world. The hypocrisy in the royal commentary world has been laid bare. Those who use AI to spread misinformation and create deepfake content are the same individuals who question the Sussexes' involvement in AI regulation. The irony is as striking as it is revealing. Their criticism isn't about the Sussexes overstepping their bounds. It's about protecting a narrative that has been carefully cultivated and nurtured in the absence of regulation. But the Sussexes are not deterred. They continue to advocate for online accountability, standing tall in the face of criticism. They understand that AI ethics is a conversation that needs to be had. It's a dialogue that must take place, regardless of the backlash or the resistance. They are not special targets, as some would like to believe, but advocates for a cause that affects us all. So, let's dispel the misconceptions. Let's call out the double standards. Let's acknowledge the courage it takes to stand up for accountability and truth in a world that often rewards the opposite. The Sussexes are not the villains in this narrative, but the champions of a better, more responsible digital world. The real story is not the critics' hypocrisy, but the Sussexes stand for ethics and truth. And that, my friends, is the real story. It's not about the critics or their selective outrage. It's about Harry and Meghan's unwavering commitment to fairness and truth. That's the final verdict, clear and unequivocal. The Sussexes are standing for ethics, and that is the real story.